Greetings. My name's Al Alvarez, and this is Behind the Scenes. In the Behind the Scenes video show, we will be discussing independent film. We'll be talking about some music in the Tampa Bay area, and basically just covering some of the creative arts and artists in our community. This evening, we have some special guests. They are very involved, or have been very involved, in producing films around the area here in Tampa Bay and beyond. Most recently, well, a couple of years ago, actually, I had the pleasure of working with them in a short film called The Lessons. The Lessons went on to receive several Crystal Reel Awards, including Best Actor, Best Actress, and also Best Video Lighting. I'd like to introduce our panel of guests today. This is Mr. James Labuddy. James worked in New York for a couple of film companies. He also has written 11 screenplays. 3 have actually been optioned for production. Now, he's also won several awards, including the finalist for the Nicole Fellowship and a Disney Fellowship Award. He's a director of a recent film that is going to be presented in the Gasparilla Film Festival. So thanks for coming in, James. It's nice to see you. We also have Mr. Michael Wytrack. Mike is a good friend of ours as well and was involved in the Film Lessons as the director of photography. Now, he started his production in still photography, but like a lot of artists that are growing, he soon found that he was interested in film and video production as well. He shot underwater video as well as the director of photography on The Real Premonition, which is a production, a full-length feature production that is going into distribution this year. So it should be rather interesting. He started really getting interested in the video side as a certified scuba diver, and he really specializes in doing underwater scenes. He does crane work, dolly work, Steadicam work, and underwater video. So we're so glad to have you here today, Mike. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Our special guest today is, to my left here, is Mr. Doc Lovett. Now, I've known Doc for quite some time. We met through a musician-songwriters organization, and we became fast friends. Doc is a phenomenal guitarist and songwriter. He's going to be performing for us later in the show, and he's also the lead guitarist for the Mojo Gurus, one of the best bands in the Tampa Bay area, and they're actually recording artists. They've signed with a label, so we're very glad to have Doc Lovett with us this evening also.
Good to be here.
Yeah, so let's talk about The Lessons, this short, and we'll start with James. James, when you're starting to come up with an idea for something you're going to write, is it just something that kind of presents itself to you and you think, that's a good idea, I should maybe put something down on paper and explore it? Or is this the way your process works?
Yeah, I mean, for me, most of the time I start with a core of an idea. So when I sit down to begin, I have somewhere where I want to go, somewhere I want to end. For me, since I've been writing for such a long time, I don't do a lot of the kind of not tricks, but kind of the other like outlines and index cards and things like that a lot of writers do. Just because I've been doing it for so long, I kind of have all that in my head now. So I start with the core of an idea and core characters, and then I kind of just let them go and I just let them tell the story. And for me, that works.
Great, great. Well, as you know, I'm a dabbling writer myself.
I know.
Yeah.
You're a very good dabbler.
Thank you very much. And I've yet to complete anything. Do you ever find yourself, I know there's a term that they use a lot called writer's block.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's so much a writer's block is that it's a lack of vision for or a lack of direction. Does this ever happen to you?
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think a lot of times writer's block, for me, when I do get it, it's because I have this point where I want to get to, and for some reason something's stopping me to get to that. And the best way to work around that is to forget about where you need to go and just write anything that you can to get you start moving you forward. Because if you get bogged down in only one little detail or one little sequence or the scene before the scene, if you get bogged down, skip over it. Because that's the worst thing is oh my gosh, I don't know what to do next. And that's writer's block. That's when I don't know what to do next. Forget it. Don't worry about what to do next. Just do something, and then it'll work. You'll work yourself out of it.
So no matter what I don't want to call it, it's writer's block. It sounds like a great idea for a song, actually.
That's excellent.
It really does.
Doc can take that. Yeah.
So let's ask Doc a question about songwriting. Since you're a published songwriter, what gives you inspiration? Are you just sitting around playing your guitar and a bird flies by and you want to talk about the beautiful sky and the bird? Or?
I have had it come in every form. I have had it come jamming with a rhythm section and hit on a great riff, and the riff is so great that I just have to flesh it out and finish it. I have had lyric ideas come to me, written them complete with no idea, and then had to come up with a melody and a harmony structure for it. I mean, everything you can think of is one way of getting there. There's no real set way to do it.
Sure. And, my use of the term bird was a metaphor for a beautiful girl, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
I got that.
A beautiful sky is a beautiful sky. Mike, now, it says here, and I know you pretty well, and I know that you did start out with still photography. I mean, what most people think of still photography as a bowl full of oranges on the table or fruit on the table. But, I mean, was it more portrait photography? Did you actually go out and shoot nature? Did you work on a set as a still photographer? How did that all start for you?
Oh, it all really started, with kids playing sports and all that. And it just took off and grew, and people see your work, and they say, well, can you do a wedding? Can you do an engagement? Can you do this event? And then I got asked to work on a feature film as a production still photographer. And
what film was this?
That was a film that's still in post-production.
Okay.
And it stalled for a little while, but it's off and running again. Some people in this area may remember the title. It was called Out of Hand, and it's really back. A lot of people don't know this, but it's really underway again.
That's fantastic. So it's not out of hand; it's back on the table, right?
Yeah,
It's back in hand.
and then I
That's
was
right.
I was working on another film. They needed a certified diver to do some underwater work. They asked if anybody knew one, and I raised my hand. So I jumped in and I did that. It felt great to contribute that part of it. But that really got my interest going on the video side of things, being able to do that. And so I began the road going in that direction too.
That's fantastic. Why don't we talk about the lessons? Now, I had the pleasure to have a small part in the film The Lessons. I got to work as the set manager, if you will, and I really enjoyed the storyline. Boy meets girl, or boy has tragedy, girl has tragedy, boy meets girl, love blossoms. Jamie, why don't you tell us a little bit about the background of that story?
Well, I based part of it on my own life, and I think a lot of, I feel like the best writing is writing that comes from the heart and writing that you can relate to. And for that story, I had an idea of what was not an idea, but I had this happening in my life. What happened to the guy in the lessons, to a degree, happened to me. And that was the core of the idea that I started with. So, like any good story, I took from real life, and I built the rest of it around it. Obviously,
Sure.
it's not, 100% real, but.
Right. Hey, would this be a good time to show a clip? Is this? What do we have coming up first?
Yeah, definitely. Let's show a clip.
Why don't you have the list of what's coming up first?
Well, where did I put that? Where did we?
Once upon a time,
Where
there
did
was
we
a
throw
list
that?
of- yeah.
We've got our first clip is at in front of a cafe between our lead actress and Al happens to be in this clip.
Perfect time.
And,
How do you manage that to
I
get
don't
Al's
know.
clip first?
I bought him a Coke and a burger, and
Yeah, the father happens to pop into town, and she's telling him, bringing him up to speed in what her life has
okay,
been like.
a scene from the lessons.
So how was your trip?
Well, it was fantastic till we got to Denver. There must have been a convention in town or something because everything was delayed. But you know what? All's well that ends well, and I'm here with you now, and that's all that matters.
It's crazy. How's my aunt doing?
Well, sweetheart, she's going through treatment. She's got the best doctors, and she's very optimistic. So please keep her in your prayers, okay?
Well,
Okay, good.
so I started teaching again.
That is good news. That's good to hear. It's been over a year, and it's good to see you moving forward.
I miss Fred, and I wanted to play shows. I thought I'd be playing shows by now.
Listen, as far as Fred is concerned, he was a big part of your life for a long time. It's the most natural thing in the world to miss him.
Yeah.
But I hate to sound cliche-ish, but loss is a part of life. And love will find you again.
All right, Dad. Let's eat.
All right, well, I'm starving. I'm ready.
Well, I must say, oh, little loop there. I must say that was one of my personal favorite scenes of the whole movie.
Yeah.
So I had a lot
The
of
girl
fun.
was good. I wasn't crazy about the guy.
Well, I asked for a little slower rhythm, but our director wanted that pitch. And I'll tell you, Z Ahmed did a fantastic job. I liked watching his style of directing. Jamie, why don't you tell us a little bit about Amber, the lead actress in this film?
Yeah, Amber actually is a singer and guitar player, and not an actress at all, or she
Songwriter
wasn't.
too, right?
Yeah, and songwriter. Very well known locally, very successful. And she auditioned for the role.
Mm-hmm.
Z had met her and asked her to come in and audition. She auditioned with a couple of other young women at the time, and she just nailed it. And so here's somebody that just was a singer, was a songwriter, came in on her first movie.
Mm-hmm.
Movie went to the Crystal Reel Awards, and she wins Best Actress.
Wow. And the Crystal Reel Awards, they're generally an annual event. We went to the Crystal Reel Awards, and we had a great table. We had a fantastic dinner. It was a great evening. I got to get up and present an award. I know Mike got to get up and receive a few awards.
Yeah.
Couple of them that night.
And Amber wasn't there that evening, but she did win for Best Actress in a Short. So not only is she a very creative and talented performer and songwriter, but she's a natural actress.
Yes.
You know, And I mean, we're talking about a room with representatives from Dolphin Tale, the first Dolphin Tale, from Alcon Entertainment. Mr. Harry Connick Jr. was there, along with the young people. What's his name? Nathan Gamble, who starred as Winter's friend. So, I mean, there was a high echelon of people there.
Definitely.
And for her to walk away with the best actor in the show is fantastic. Also, why don't you tell us about Jeremy Thomas?
Well, Jeremy was the other lead in the movie, and he also is a singer, songwriter,
Right.
has a band locally. I'm sure Doc's heard of him.
Jeremy and I know each other.
I'm sure. Same situation. Jeremy never acted before.
Right.
Came in, nailed it. Also, won the Crystal Reel. First time out of the gate, best actor.
Isn't that fantastic? I'll tell you, that's good casting. It really
Good
is.
casting.
And we can talk about casting another time. We can kind of maybe hint at it today. But, Doc, I mean, as a performer, you also have to put yourself out there. There's a certain amount of acting involved in that. I think, because you're an entertainer, you ad-lib, you improvise.
Yeah.
A lot of times you may have a crowd. You're playing a small crowd. You're playing a house party. You're playing a big gig with the Mojo Gurus.
Right.
And how do you find yourself adapting to something like that?
That's a very tough question. There's also the I don't feel good that day factor.
Right.
And you don't feel good, but there's 1,000 people that just paid money to see you play.
Right.
You can't let those people know you don't feel good. So, you just, for me, at this point, I take it as a gift that anyone will take the moment to listen to me play guitar.
Right.
So I'm going to give it all I got like I'm not waking up tomorrow morning.
Well, it's a great gift because I've known you, I think, going on 12, 13 years, and you're twice as good as you were when I met you. And,
Why, thank you.
and I can only imagine how many times you've been on that stage. And, an entertainer is an actor also. An actor is an entertainer. It's just, it's part of who you become. Mike, on the lessons, now, I may have misspoke when I talked about the award that you won for the lessons. Was it for best lighting? I know you won a couple of awards.
I think it was.
Okay. Now you get so many awards you can't keep track.
I've
Is
lost.
that it?
I've mixed them. They're all mixed up now. I can't
Yeah?
tell what's what anymore.
So how often do you have to dust your trophy shelf? No, but you were up there a few times accepting awards.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. So and how many feature films do you think that you worked on as a videographer?
Full length, just a couple of them.
Okay.
And then several shorts
Mm-hmm.
that we've done. This one, of course, would have to be my favorite. I think the crew was so great to work with. The talent was fantastic, and you just look forward to going there every day,
Sure.
just to work with this group. It was really fun.
Yeah. Well, that kind of like it kind of plays on what I was saying about working with Z as a director, and watching how things came together. And James did some coaching of his own with the actors, and as you were setting them up, and I was helping set up the room. And it's really a team effort. It really is. We had people helping on sound, and it's a crew. That's why they call it a crew. And it was a very, very pleasurable experience for me. I'd like to just take a moment here, and first of all, thank you for viewing our show today. We're going to be broadcasting every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, Dad, out in Long Beach, California, 4 o'clock for you, okay? Every Thursday, I want to see you. And then we'll go to Priscilla's for lunch. Anyway, so there's also a local theater, and I'd like to talk to you briefly about this. It's called the Tampa Picture Show, and this theater has been in operation probably over 30 years. It's on North Dale Mabry, and they have hosted many, many events for independent filmmakers. They've been friendly to the independent filmmaker for years and years. They have had every kind of event that you can imagine. They've had stage events like the Rocky Horror Show. They have had bands playing. They've opened their doors for charities, and they are running a fundraiser on Kickstarter right now. If you don't know this, the entire movie industry, if you will, the theaters are going digital on the first of the year. In other words, if you're still playing 35 millimeter film and that's all the equipment that you have, you're not going to be able to play the new digital discs that come out. Now, the picture show is in need of our help. So you can just go online and go to the Tampa Picture Show. It's pictured like a pitcher of beer because you can eat there and have a beer or a cocktail or a lemonade if you like.
Or two beers.
Or 2 beers, yeah. And, so I just kind of wanted to plug that. Wayne, you're a great guy, and we're behind you all the way, and thank you so much for always standing up for independent artists here in Tampa Bay. All right, let's get back to our talk here. So where are we at? James?
Al?
Mike?
You ready for another clip?
Yeah, what do you got?
Can we mix and match some clips at all? Like, could we go to number 5?
What happened to number 2?
Well,
You got tired of it.
this is kind of special. You don't see
Can you tell us what it's about?
underwater. Yeah, this is the one part where we had some underwater video involved. Our lead actor comes out and sees his wife. She's drowning and she's laying in the bottom of the pool, and he's going to try to rescue her.
Okay.
But it's too late.
Well, sounds like a great clip to me. Let's take a look. That was a great clip. And
Good
that's just a
photography.
sample of Mike Wytrack's underwater photography. I think he loves doing this so much that he won't even get on a project unless there's a chance to do some scuba diving. Is that right?
I always like to see if there's a way it can be worked into the script,
Yeah.
because you just don't see it that much, and has a little impact to it, I think.
Yeah, sure.
Definitely.
Yeah, now, Mike just
And
got
crystal
back from
clear.
a week in Mexico off
Yeah.
of Puerto Vallarta. Is that right?
Yes.
So
it's a small town.
he's big time. He's got a friend that's got a private island and a resort. So he was out there with his daughter Brittany, and they were filming. Brittany she travels all over, and she's putting together a series of travel.
Yeah, and we were
Yeah.
actually shooting what we hope will turn into a pilot for her adventures across the globe.
Good deal. Well,
Series.
good luck to you, Brittany.
Nice.
And another independent project, and she's a young lady with big dreams, and she's making them happen. And that's what we're all about here at Behind the Scenes, is helping each other as a community of artists, of independent filmmakers, of musicians, and it's just all about the love, sharing the love. So share the love, baby, share the love. James, let's get back to the script. Let's get back to the script. Now, this was a short. Was it meant to be a short? Was it just taken from the idea, or did you actually write a feature film and just film the short?
No, this one I specifically wrote as a short.
Okay.
Knowing the limitations of the production, knowing the limitations of cast and what we had to work with. I think a lot of times when you're writing to make the movie yourself, you should keep all those things in mind. So in this movie, I don't put them, on an airliner or with spaceships and jets and things like that. So you have to keep all that into context when you're.
But you could if you wanted to.
Oh, sure.
Sure.
But knowing that you have to, film it yourself, that
Yeah.
we were going to film it, that I knew the director, I knew what we had to work with.
You have to be realistic.
you have to be realistic, and that's the first thing. You know, if you're out there writing shorts and you just write yourself out of that a budget that you can do, that can be a big mistake unless you can cover it in post with CGI or you know, whatever.
Sure. Sure.
Mike can fix that up for you in post with special effects. But most of the time, you need to keep that in mind when you're writing. And even with independent productions now and independent movies, most of their budgets are low budgets. And you need to think about that when you're writing, because now that opens up a whole other a world for you, other opportunities for you. If you're writing for a $500,000 budget or a $5 million budget, those are the things you have to consider when you're writing material and trying to sell material and get material noticed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to be able to get a filmmaker in Florida or in Tampa to make my $10 million movie. It's just going to be hard. I'm going to have to take that to LA. I'm going to have to take that to New York. I'm going to have to shop that. But a $500,000 movie, yeah, I can get that made.
That's possible. Yeah. So you know, you've done a short. It's a great short. It's an award-winning short. Now, what's next for it? Are you entering it into film festivals, or are you taking it to
that's more
possible buyers, distribution?
That's up to the director. So that's something that Z, the director of it, Z, that's his thing right now. So for me as the writer, I kind of did my part, and I understand that he is shopping, and I understand that he's considering actually extending it to a feature.
Fantastic, fantastic. I tell you, the premise for the short, I think, would make a fantastic feature.
It would.
It really
the material is there. There's a story.
Yeah,
there.
especially since I'm kind of privy to some of the backstory.
Yeah.
You know, having been on the set and talking to you and Z and the guys. Now, let me ask you this: for the screenwriters out there, what are some of the things that they can do to be successful? And then we'll take that question also to Mike and to Doc about video production and also a musical career. Okay. So,
Definitely.
you know, what's the road to success?
Well, I'm speaking from my own experience as well. The one thing you have to do is you have to write a lot. You can't write one screenplay, or like even you've said, oh, you've written something but you never finished it.
Right.
That's a lot of people. There's a lot of people that you know, they want to be a screenwriter. They'll write one script and that's it. They'll shop it around and nothing will ever happen. Well, if you compare my first script with my 10th script, you can imagine how much better the 10th is than the first.
Sure.
And how much the first I don't want anybody to see now. But when I finished it, I wanted everybody to see it.
Yeah.
I actually did very well with my first one. But that's the thing is, of course, I want you to see my best work. So you have to write more than one thing. You have to write a lot. And for me, I think another good outlet for new screenwriters is contests. Film festivals have screenwriting contests. There's tons of screenwriting contests out there. Now, it might cost you a little bit of money because they're like anywhere from like $20 to $40 to $50 to get into.
Right.
But my first contest that I won, actually I didn't even win. I was a finalist for my first script. I was a finalist. That's how I got my first agent. I was a finalist. I was on the list, and they called me up.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So just by being a finalist or a winner in these contests, you can get an agent. You can get people to call you. I had HBO Films call me.
Wow.
So that's pretty. I thought that was pretty.
Yeah, I would feel good about that.
Yeah, I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, Mike, what do you think? I mean, what's the road to success for somebody who wants to get into video production?
Well, what I've always thought of when I start on a project, James wouldn't know this, but I really want to have a work relationship that they find, the director, the screenwriter, find so creative and helpful and easy to get along with, that when it's all over with, they don't want to do another one with anybody else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, makes sense.
So that's kind of a little goal I have in the back of my head when I start a project with somebody. And this involves so many different people. You've got to be easy to get along with. You've got to be cooperative. You've got to give it 110%. No bad attitudes at all. I mean, and you got to be a team player.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know, I also felt that on the set of Lessons, because I was working as a production manager for half of the film also, and especially when we were out in the courtyard, the stage scene at the end. And, you know, it was a festive atmosphere, but we had to get the scenes done. And
Yeah.
a lot of times you're shooting at different angles on the same scene, and people they go festive. And as the production manager, you've got to control that because we have time elements involved. But at the
Right.
same time, you know, you don't want to break the spirit of the atmosphere.
And I think, you know, and I'm sure Doc is the same way. We love what we do. This
Sure.
is not for, I mean, it is fun, but we don't do this for fun. This is what we're passionate about. And we want to work with people that are passionate. We want to work with people that believe in what we're doing.
Sure.
You know, if they believe in my movie, I want to work with them. Z, he read my script and called me up as soon as he finished it. He goes, oh my God, I want to make this movie. I want to make this movie. That, to me, was the biggest draw for me towards him.
Sure.
And that's the thing. We all want to be able to be passionate and care about the project from the very beginning.
Right.
And then that'll carry through.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think, Doc Levitt?
I am blessed to work with three of my dearest friends in the Mojo Gurus.
And they are?
Kevin Steele, songwriter, singer, harmonica player. Vinny Granese plays bass, and Sean Doyle plays drums. And if I had my choice of any musicians in the country, those are the three guys I would pick. So I am very blessed with that, and it is a work of passion.
Sure.
And Kevin will bring a song in, and Kevin's a great songwriter, and my role is to get the best guitar part that serves that song, whether it's two notes or me showing off for the whole song. Whichever it is, to the best of my ability. And you're absolutely right. It's just a passion thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, I've also been privileged to see a couple of the videos you guys have done, you know, and they were pretty good. They really were well produced. Where did you shoot these? Especially, what was it, burning down the house or burning the barn? I'm sorry. I should know this. When Kevin's in at the bar.
I can't stand to hear that song again.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
A large part of it was
Well,
done.
then don't listen to it.
A large. The performance part was done at, I think it's called the Beaux Arts Place. It's a
Okay.
place that Marilyn Monroe and Jim Morrison.
Yeah, Jim Morrison.
Really?
Those guys like that
yeah.
used to hang out
Used
in
to hang
St.
out there.
Pete. So we shot the performance stuff there. The bar scenes were shot at Dave's, rest in peace, Dave's Aqua Lounge.
Mhm.
And driving around St. Pete or whatever. And it was shot by a great friend of ours, Christian Moriarty, who's also done a lot of photos for us, a lot of video work for us. Again, you were talking about relationships. You were talking about how when you work with somebody, you don't want them to ever work with anyone else. You want them to want to work with you again.
Yeah.
That's how Chris is with us. We worked with him once. I don't really want anybody on the other side of that camera.
Yeah.
I know that guy knows how to make us look good. We're lucky we're a bunch of guys that can pull off the photogenic rock star thing, but without the right guy behind the camera, it's not going to come across.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned something too that you were shooting in St. Pete.
Mhm.
You know, and all, if I'm not mistaken, the entire production of the lessons was shot in St. Pete. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, we shot the whole thing in St. Pete,
Yeah.
didn't we, Mike? Yeah.
It's fantastic.
We did.
The intro,
Yeah,
you know,
Mhm.
the colors of the sky and the water were right on. I've seen some major motion pictures, and my wife and I have talked about this, and they've used the filter on the lens for one reason or another, and it doesn't do Tampa Bay justice.
Mhm.
It really doesn't, you know. But in the lessons, you look at the opening where the seagulls are sitting on the railing, and you see the bridge in the background, and I mean the color is fantastic. I mean it's
This
very
guy.
well.
It looks real.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it,
that's
it,
this
it,
guy
really-
right
yeah, it does. It looks like a real town.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess the point I'm getting to is that if you're listening tonight, if you're viewing our program tonight, I honestly feel, and so do my cohorts, my friends and my colleagues here in Tampa Bay, that we have one of the most beautiful places in the world to shoot a film. I mean, Caladesi Island is one of the top 10 beaches in the world. In the world,
Mhm.
you know, We have Clearwater. We have the coast all the way up and down the coast. We have the Panhandle. We have Tampa Harbor. We have the Warehouse District. We have the town train district. We also have Ybor
Yeah.
City,
Mhm.
you know, which is one of the first Cuban settlements that evolved here.
There's some very interesting buildings.
Oh,
down there.
yeah.
I'll tell you, it's a beautiful landscape, and by that I mean the entire city. The architecture is very much like New Orleans. As a matter of fact, there's a major motion picture star who is going to be producing a film that is looking very strongly at Ybor City instead of going to New Orleans. Okay, so there's just so much. I mean, there are a lot of films shot around the Miami area, but here in Tampa Bay, it's absolutely beautiful. I mean, any type of location you might want, you're going to find it here in Tampa Bay. If you want a bridge, if you want an inner city scene, if you want highways, jungles, we have plenty of jungles. I've got one in my backyard, you know. So, but really, I mean, I know that I'm really plugging Tampa Bay hard, but it's where we want you to come to make your films. And believe me, we've got the talent here, we've got the expertise to help you put your film together, and we've got the connections.
Absolutely. I
We've
mean,
got
the
the connections.
Punisher was done here.
That's
and,
right.
I believe Bradley Cooper shot most of Bending All the Rules here.
Yep.
Which
Spring Breakers.
I have
Yep.
a song in.
That's right. Spring
Okay.
Breakers,
Yeah.
Magic Mike,
Magic
Yeah.
Mike was
Yep.
there.
Oh,
Dolphin Tale 1 and 2. As a matter of fact,
course, yeah.
Mike Hippert, who was one of the producers of The Lessons, what a great guy, you know. But he has actually been working on Dolphin Tale 2 as a background person for 3 months, going on 3 months.
Yeah.
And he's just enjoying the heck out of it. You know, he's just showing up at 4 a.m. and leaving at 7 at night. And, you know, but I'll tell you what, they feed you well. I know
Yeah.
because I was on Dolphin Tale 1.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I learned a trick from Mike. Is he got himself a position on the staff
Oh,
of the Marine Aquarium.
Ah.
And so whenever staff had to be in the movie, he's there.
Way
Smart
to go,
guy.
Mike.
They have
yeah.
So
Well, I tell you, Mike's a pretty sharp guy. But so are we, right? That's right. So behind the scenes, this is a concept that we put together. You know, nothing happens without community. We have been networking with various organizations around the Tampa Bay area, and we're very proud to say that with that networking, many of us have found friendships and partnerships in music, in film, in family. You know, we've been over to each other's homes and had a drink, had a barbecue, what have you.
Or two.
Of course, we're still waiting for an invitation to James. You know, James's barbecue.
You got it.
it. So, but Doc, tell us about where you're playing next.
We actually have nothing on the calendar right now. We've signed with Red River Records through Sony Red.
Okay.
The new album is finished.
And it's called.
It is called Who Asked Ya?
I asked you, what's it called?
We keep hearing about how real rock and roll is dead. Well, who asked you? We're still playing it.
There you go. That's
It's-
awesome.
The record is done, except for maybe some minor artwork
Yeah.
details. It will probably get April or May release. We're getting tour dates lined up. So as of right now, it looks like we're laying low, but
Mhm.
we're doing all again
Right.
behind the scenes. We're
There you
doing
go.
all of that stuff to get it ready. We are shopping songs to television and movies
Right.
because that's the new rock and roll radio.
That's right.
Mm.
That's
Um,
right.
Even the Rolling Stones don't get a new song off their record on rock and roll radio.
Yeah.
Classic rock isn't playing a new Aerosmith song. They're going to play
Mhm.
Sweet Emotion, but they're not going to play the new one.
Yeah, that's right.
Right.
So let me ask you this: we have another clip, don't we?
yes.
Okay. Why don't we go ahead and go to another clip? And you know which clip this is?
Which
Number
one?
3.
And it is.
Number 3 is our characters, Maggie and Terrence, who have been sort of butting heads a little bit up to this point. Finally, you see them sort of fall in love at the end of the movie.
Oh, I love
and,
this scene. If it's
This is the
anything
scene that
about-
got them the
I think
award.
it's
I think.
it's
Is this
it's a
the
really
ending
emotional
scene?
scene, yeah, and it's On the technical side, we played around a little bit with the focusing. You'll see that from
I
the
think
two
this
characters.
is the scene
so.
that got them the best actor.
All right, let's see that scene, please.
I know I'm sort of late.
Sort of late. Dude, your lesson ended 10 minutes ago.
I'm sorry, Maggie.
It's not about being sorry, Terrence. I could have been doing other things. Like, seriously, I could have been teaching other students. You know I need the money. I could have been cleaning my house. I even did my hair. I did my hair.
It's really pretty.
Just go.
Maggie, I'm so sorry. Listen, I have something I want to show you.
I hope it's your checkbook.
Maggie, you need to know something. I have a beautiful home. I have a beautiful daughter who I love more than anything in the world. If you were standing on the sidewalk in front of my house, you would say, "What an amazing family." But there's something missing. You wouldn't see how lost I am, how I'm thinking it.
You're not fake, Terrence.
I'm not anymore.
What, the guitar lesson?
Yeah, the lessons, the guitar,
Stop.
teacher, something else happened. I mean,
No.
Look, I had no idea these lessons would become so important, so urgent to me.
Oh, I love this clip. I really love this clip. I think it's so cool. It's very emotional. It speaks to you. I think these two young people who are entertainers and songwriters just did a phenomenal job. And congratulations to Amber and to Jeremy for their fantastic job and their accomplishment. I talked with Amber just the other day, and she's been going back and forth up to Nashville to record her music. And she has been going for quite some time. She's working on her third CD. So keep your eyes open for Amber Lynn Nicole. Again, we're behind the scenes. We'll be here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Each week, we're going to have artists here from Tampa Bay. We're going to focus on independent film, but we also respect the music that helps independent film to set the mood, to set the excitement, to set the ambiance. So right now, we're going to go ahead and feature our very good friend playing a song of his own, Mr. Doc Lovett.
Why, thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
much.
Now, Doc's been playing around town for quite some time. I actually met him over at Johnny G's when Johnny had the club. Yeah, over on Memorial Highway. Why don't you tell us who you're going to play there, Doc?
I'm going to play a song I wrote a while back. It's called "It's All Over But the Crying," and you're going to think it's about one thing, and I'm going to let you think that that's what it's about, but that's not what it's about. And like a lot of good songs, it's got more than one meaning. Don't you know I've spent the whole week thinking, wondering how you could do me like you did. It's enough to make a good man turn to drinking, choking down all the lies I've been fed.
guess it's all those years I stuck there beside you. When everybody that I know said I was out of my head. Just feel tore up inside and lied to. I'm choking down all the lies that I've been fed. It's all over, but the crying. You tore me apart for loving you. It's all over, but the crying. And now I know that's over too. Guess at least that you helped me find out who my friends are. Never drag me down that road again. 'Cause I found out it's all over but the crying. And what you give out always comes back in the end. It's all over, but the crying. You tore me apart for loving you. It's all over, but the crying. And now I know that's over too. Now I know that's over too. And now I know that's over too.
Yeah. All right,
Thank you.
Doc. There he is, Mr. Doc Lovett, right here on Behind the Scenes every Thursday evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to be, well, I tell you what, you have any final thoughts, James?
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts about advice for filmmakers?
I would just say, yep, just keep at it. And no matter where you are, in Florida, LA, New York, Texas, just work your craft. And
do it in Tampa Bay.
Come back here
And then
make
bring
a
it,
movie.
yeah.
Have Mike shoot it, and you star in it, and Doc do the music for it.
There you go. There you go. What do you think, Mike? I know you've been doing a lot of post-production work too, right? Editing and
Yeah, I've been doing a lot more editing now too, and a lot of my own stuff, wedding work, corporate things, events,
commercials.
commercials,
Yeah.
stuff, some industrial things.
Now you've been working with Tammy Peralta over at Bean Productions, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Tammy's in a league way above me as far as
well,
editing goes.
I mean,
but-
it's nice to have people like her in our community. As a matter of fact, she loaned me the poster there of Secrets of a Medicine Man. It's actually a Fenton production, but it's a beautiful poster, and she let me
did the editing on that.
Oh yeah,
too, so.
yeah. So it's a phenomenal film, also. Doc, any advice for young musicians today?
Learn to play your instrument. Leave the computer alone. Throw the tabs away. Get out a CD or preferably a record and use your ears. The tab will not. I've had so many kids play and the tab tells them to play and it's obviously wrong and it sounds horrible, but they keep going. Well, that's what the tab said to do.
So use your head.
Use your head. Use your ears.
That's right.
Listen.
Don't do drugs. right?
Bad idea.
That's right.
Bad
All right.
idea. Bring them to me, and I'll dispose of them
Yes.
for you.
That's right. We have a drug disposal dump
Yeah.
right here at behind the scenes. Okay. Well, listen, we're always going to try to keep behind the scenes well produced and family friendly. Anyone who does want to submit a short or a trailer that's not in the area can email me at producer2@verizon.net. It's the number 2, producer2@verizon.net. As long as it's well produced, family friendly, and better than the other films that I'm getting, we'll go ahead and review it right here on Behind the Scenes. If you're local, use the same email, producer2@verizon.net, and we'll see if we can't have you on the show as a guest as well. We have a lot of musicians waiting in the wings to be our musical guests, but you're also willing to, send me a CD, send me a sound file, whatever you like to, however you would like.
There's
to
a
do
lot
it.
of really talented cats in this area.
Oh yeah, phenomenal, and
Yeah.
a lot of the big boys from some of the bands. I mean, like Dickie Betts and guys like that.
Yeah,
They're all living in this area. But so we'd like to invite you to. We're trying to build a studio audience also. So if you have friends, I don't know. Do you guys have any
I
friends?
have like one.
Yeah, I have 2 or 3 friends.
I
But-
loan mine to him.
if you'd like to come down and be a part of our studio audience, we don't have a large studio. I mean, it's not Jay Leno show yet, okay? But we can accommodate about 20 guests here, and if you buy pizza or bring candy,
You get front row.
that's
Or
right.
Whiskey.
That's right.
Oh, did I say it out loud?
Well, you know what? It's all over but the crime. But,
Yeah.
but again, we just like to say thank you so much, James.
Thank you, Al. It was fun.
Thank you for being our guest today, and for
Anytime.
allowing me to be a part of the lessons. I really had a good time in it, Mike.
I feel honored to be around such talent.
Great, James LeBuddy, Mike Wytrack, Doc Levitt.
Thank you very much. Something you said, Mike, earlier. You're talking about the lady being above you. I always strive to try to work with people. I'm not going to learn from people down
we
here.
want to go that way. That's
You
the
wanna
direction
keep
we
going
want to go.
higher, brother.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I tell you what, to all our friends out there in the Tampa Bay area and beyond, to all our family, we'd just like to say thank you for tuning in this evening. This is Beyond the Scene, or Behind the Scenes. I'm thinking of Tampa Bay and beyond.
Beyond the
But-
valley of the behind the
Oh,
scenes.
my goodness. See, you got me all confused. This is Behind the Scenes with Al Alvarez, Armand Al Alvarez, and my very good friends here on our panel. So thank you for tuning in tonight. You can see this show in the archives or on YouTube. So thank you so much. Good night, and I guess that's a wrap.